In an ancient city where the stones of the streets echo with stories from generations past, the silence of that cold night was broken by the sound of hurried footsteps. Victor Dupont, one of the most respected painters of the elite, was agitated. His eyes, normally calm, now revealed a disturbed mind. He had discovered something terrible. Victor sits in front of his canvas, his trembling hands gripping the brush as if it were a weapon. The room is plunged into shadows, the only light coming from a lamp beside him. He stares at the canvas, where a surreal landscape begins to take shape. But there is something more to the painting, something that even he cannot fully understand. As he paints, he murmurs to himself, disjointed words, fragments of a truth that he should not have discovered. A secret that has haunted him since the night before, when he found an ancient manuscript at a flea market. A document that spoke of rituals and sacrifices performed by the founders of the city centuries ago. The strokes of paint become more aggressive, almost violent. Victor senses that something is wrong, that he is not alone. But when he turns around, there is nothing there. Only the heavy silence of the night and the unsettling presence of the unfinished painting. That night, Victor disappears. The door of his house locked from the inside, and the painting, still damp, are the only signs of his existence. What happened to him? No one knows for sure, but the city would soon be dragged into an abyss of secrets and despair. Days pass, and news of Victor Dupont's disappearance spreads quickly. Marcellus Fontaine, a detective known for his cunning and persistence, is called in to investigate. Marcellus is not like the others. He knows the secrets the city hides. His experience has taught him to look beyond the obvious, to listen to what the walls whisper. As he enters Victor's house, Marcellus feels a chill. The place feels different, as if it were permeated by a dark energy. He explores the rooms, but it is in the studio that he finds something that stops him. The unfinished painting. Marcellus's eyes fix on the canvas, which seems to pulse with a life of its own. The landscape in the painting is distorted, surreal, like a nightmare captured in paint. But there is something else, shadowy, almost invisible figures lurking in the margins. And then he sees it, a hooded figure, half hidden in the shadows, but with eyes that seem to be watching him directly. Marcellus feels the weight of those figures, as if they were about to jump off the canvas. But what disturbs him most is the detail in the background of the painting. A door half open, with a strange light emanating from within. He realizes that this is not just a painting, it is a map. Path to something that Victor has discovered. Marcellus knows he must follow the clues. Something inside him warns him to be careful. He is approaching something dangerous, something that Victor wanted to reveal, but that has silenced him forever. Marcellus begins to dig deeper into Victor's life. He discovers that in the weeks before his disappearance, Victor had begun to withdraw from his social circles. He stopped attending the high society gatherings where his presence was always in demand. Instead, he began meeting with lesser-known people, historians and occultists, in search of answers to something that was troubling him. Marcellus' investigation leads him to a small circle of the city's powerful, an elite who control everything from the shadows. They meet in secret in a secluded mansion on the top of the hill. The detective discovers that Victor was close to this circle, but that unlike the others, he was not enchanted by the power and promises of immortality they whispered. Victor has discovered something in the ancient records, a ritual performed by the city's founders to ensure their eternal prosperity. This ritual, however, exacted a terrible price, one that was renewed every 100 years. Victor had been chosen as the next sacrifice, but upon discovering the truth, he tried to warn the world through his art. Marcellus knows he is involved in something much bigger than he imagined. He begins to realize that Victor's disappearance was no ordinary crime. The elite, who keep themselves alive through these dark rituals, will do anything to ensure their secrets remain hidden. Marcellus continues to follow the clues left by Victor. He begins to notice a pattern in the painter's works. Each painting seems to tell a part of the story. The surreal landscapes, which once seemed like mere artistic expressions, now reveal a path that leads to the truth about the ritual. He finds a reference to a specific location in the unfinished painting. an old chapel on the outskirts of town that was once the site of long-forgotten ceremonies. It is there that he believes Victor discovered the truth. Marcellus decides to go to the chapel, even though he knows it could be a trap. Chapel is in ruins, overgrown with vegetation and forgotten by time. But upon entering, Marcellus senses a presence, something ancient and powerful. On the altar, he finds inscriptions in a language he can barely understand, but which echo the themes of Victor's paintings: sacrifice, immortality, and a pact with something unnameable. Suddenly, he hears voices. A group of people enter the chapel, and Marcellus hides in the shadows. It is the elite gathered to renew the pact. They speak in whispers, but the detective can make out enough. They intend to continue the cycle, and the next sacrifice has already been chosen. Marcellus must act quickly. He realizes that, like Victor, he now knows too much. He must find a way to break the cycle, to expose the ritual to the world, before it is too late. Marcellus returns to the city, but now he is a marked man. He knows that the elite are aware of his presence and will do anything to stop him. Clues he has managed to gather have led him to a horrifying conclusion. The entire city was built on this pact. Every powerful person since its founding has participated in the ritual, and the blood of countless innocents has been spilled to secure their power and wealth. He begins to prepare his exhibition, gathering evidence, interviews, and records. The forces he faces are more powerful than he imagined. The elite begin to hunt him, and everyone who tries to help him mysteriously disappears. The city becomes a hostile place, with every corner hiding eyes watching him. Finally, Marcellus discovers the truth about Victor's disappearance. The painter not only discovered the ritual, but tried to use his art to immortalize the truth. The last painting, unfinished, was his desperate attempt to leave a map for those who would come after him. But he was silenced, or he could complete his work. Now, Marcellus finds himself on the same path. He knows that the only way to expose the ritual is to complete what Victor began. He returns to the painter's house, now abandoned, finish the painting. In the darkness of Victor's studio, Marcellus works feverishly to finish the painting. He follows the clues left by the painter, connecting the fragments of information he has managed to gather. Each brushstroke brings him closer to the truth, but also draws him toward the same tragic fate as Victor. As he paints, he feels a presence in the room, as if the shadows are closing in around him. He knows the elite are close, but he cannot stop. Finally, the hooded figure in the painting is revealed, and with it, the door that will lead to the truth. A truth that is both liberating and terrifying. As Marcellus finishes, he feels a shift in the air. The painting is complete, but as he looks at it, he realizes the price he has paid. The door in the painting begins to open, revealing a light that does not belong in this world. He understands now what Victor had tried to do. He had created a gateway, a way to confront evil directly. The elite arrive, but it is too late. Marcellus, now part of the painting itself, sacrifices himself to expose the secret to the world. The town finally sees the truth. The painting becomes a legend, a work that no one dares touch but everyone fears. The cycle is broken, but at a terrible cost. Marcellus disappears, as does Victor, but his actions echo throughout the town, bringing to light the dark secrets that have remained hidden for so long. The elite, without their pact, begin to lose their power, and the once prosperous town descends into a state of decay and paranoia. Years have passed since painter Victor Dupont and detective Marcellus Fontaine disappeared, but their stories continue to haunt the town. Victor's mansion, now in ruins, shunned by all. The final painting Marcellus completed was sealed in a vault, considered cursed by those who believed in its power. The elite who once ruled the town with an iron fist began to disappear one by one, victims of a curse of their own making. Their names were erased from the records, and their mansions were abandoned. What remains of them is only a dark warning. Some secrets are too dangerous to uncover. But the legend of Victor and Marcellus lives on, passed down from generation to generation. There are those who say that if one is brave enough to face the final painting, one will see more than simple shapes and colors. One will see the truth hidden in the shadows of the town, truth that consumes all who dare approach it. And so the legacy of the missing painter and the detective who sought to uncover the truth lives on. A timeless warning to those who seek power at any cost, and a reminder that sometimes the truth must remain buried, protected from the insatiable clutches of human curiosity. The fates of Victor Dupont and Marcellus Fontaine are forever intertwined. The history of the city, a tale of mystery, horror, and sacrifice that will never